All right, this is a select board meeting of October 14th. I'll open the meeting at 6:02. First item on our agenda is the meeting minutes of September 16th, open meeting for approval.
Oh, I read them, and it's fine. I just have to invest in them.
Here we go with this, but we can make a motion.
Yes. Motion to approve meetings minutes from the September 16th.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
I abstain. Or no, can I vote on it even without it's absent?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. All right. Next item on our agenda is the appointment of Nicole Peralta as the Assistant Treasurer Collector position. Hi.
Hi. We're both here.
Okay.
I don't think Larissa's here. She's just gonna do this wiring tomorrow.
Okay. So I'm just trying to make sure we've got everything covered that we need to be. So the term is going to be from October 14th, 2025 through June 30th, 26 is the appointment. Just trying to see if there's anything else we need to make sure of. So it was posted, interviews, posting. I'm just also making sure when Teresa comes back that she doesn't have one thing to add to it that we're catching up on before we move on. All right, so I think everything's here. Number of hours, hourly rate. We were just discussing the assistant treasurer collector position on that item. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to add to it before we move forward. I know that it was posted and interviews done. Mm-hmm. Nicole was recommended.
I think the only thing that I would add is that this is further professionalizing the office and strengthening our financial team.
Yeah, and also provides us with some backup support.
Absolutely.
As the treasurer's not in and able to sign something on behalf of the town.
Yep, absolutely.
That we have that assistant role as well.
She's going to be trained on payroll because right now I'm the sole person for payroll. So that's the
God, excuse me.
next thing.
Yep, and that will help us have a backup.
Yes.
Which is a good financial plan for sure. And Nicole being in the office, but taking on a different additional role.
Yes.
The important piece. Okay. Is there a motion to make that appointment?
Yep. Motion to appoint Nicole Peralta to Assistant Treasurer Collector position.
Okay, and I'll second that motion. Is there any further discussion?
No.
Only question I have is, do you need anything additional for the banks to be able to put, or just the minutes?
Just the appointment, and then I think Larissa will give us something for swearing her in, and that'll be perfect. She'll be able to be added to all the bank accounts.
Okay. All right, so then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking on that responsibility.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4. All right, we've got a letter from Tammy Gadbois resigning from the Emergency Management Group. Do we want to acknowledge to accept that resignation?
Motion to accept that resignation.
Okay, and I'll second that motion. Is there any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 5, we're going to skip right now because it's a 6:15 poll hearing and we can't begin that before 6:15. So, how about number 6? We have the Charter Spectrum agreement update.
Yes, my name is Paul Lepenis. Thank you for having me here. I'm the chairman of the Cable Advisory Committee. And I offered this handout. I was only asked by Teresa to just give a update on the contract negotiation meetings with Spectrum. But we have enough time for a little fill-in of the history or the progress that we've made. So just following along here, this item number 1 identifies the fact that we've been an advisory committee for over 2 years, starting in July of 2023. And it wasn't until July of this year, 2025, that we started picking up momentum because we finally had got a release of our PEG monies with the help of this board and Teresa at the annual meeting. And so the progress that we're excited about is what happened just since then. So today we're capable of broadcasting recorded content. So that you've seen your last meeting posted. And we have an active community bulletin board right now. And our vendors are in alignment. We've got an active search for an operation for operating staff and proposals for capital purchases to help us provide the live broadcasting that we need to come up with to make these meetings more meaningful to the public. Number 3, the public, our community, has access to channel 191 now, so that's recordings of these meetings and the community bulletin board. Now, we had to pull the meetings of the last meeting because we have sound issues. So we've got some audio issues with the feed on channel 191. But the rest of the community, along with the TV subscribers, can find the streaming links and actually watch the Board of Selectmen meetings on YouTube. And those are provided, the links are provided on the town website, on the Cable Advisory Committee page. And so Beth helped us get those links accessible to anybody who has access to the town website. So we've been around town asking of town department heads, churches, and the like, community groups and charitable groups, to submit any items they have for the community bulletin board. And if you've seen the TV station, you'll start seeing that there's a revolving, like a carousel of announcements. And we've also solicited submissions with Turley Publications and Stonebridge through a press release. So that's the progress of broadcasting. Now we've been looking for a station coordinator, and so we've posted the job on the website, the town website, and on Indeed, and we also announced in a press release to Turley and Stonebridge Press. We've got 12 responses so far, which we thought was pretty good for the economy and the nature of the part-time job. And we have 3 candidates that had varying degrees of relevant experience. We had 3 informal meetings with each of those 3 candidates in the studio to orient them to what the job would be all about, and the challenges of starting the studio kind of from scratch again. And we've done reference checking on 2 of the candidates, and we have a callback scheduled for actually our meeting tomorrow night for our primary candidate. So now we're at number 5. We've experienced our first contract negotiation meeting. It was an in-person meeting with our attorney, representative of the town, Teresa, and our committee, and a government affairs representative named Nancy Clark from Spectrum in the Worcester office. And so that meeting was just our first of, we expect to have several more before any kind of a contract, draft contract is negotiated by both sides. And so this first meeting just set out some expectations of the parties and acknowledged the fact that they have submitted a draft contract to us. The next in-person meeting is coming up the end of this month, and that'll also be a live meeting here in town. And that's where we will be offering our first draft of a specific section in the contract. And that section, with the help of our attorney, is to us the most important part of the contract. It's kind of the meat of the guts of the middle of the contract, because it has all the details of operating and capital needs, fulfilling the operating and capital needs that we have in the budget to run the studio. And so that's franchise fees and capital equipment grants. And that's what keeps the PEG station running. So the first meeting has been accomplished, the second meeting is upcoming, and we've done our preparation with that. As a matter of fact, just 3:30 this afternoon, the attorney got back to me with draft number 3.0 on the contract. So we look forward to visiting with you again, further updates as we go along. But we expect that we'll have a candidate for you to appoint to the position of studio or station coordinator before your next meeting, so that maybe we can get that approved and start getting a paid position up there to run the studio. Any questions?
So I just want to clarify for the public as well. So the money that ends up being negotiated through the contract means that the taxpayers aren't paying for those services. It's coming through the funds.
Exactly.
To the contract.
Those are franchise fees that Spectrum
Come from
pays.
Spectrum.
And so, and also the PEG money, or the public education and government money that is in the coffers of the town now in the treasury, those are not taxpayers' dollars. They're all accumulations of franchise fees over these 8 years that we've not been broadcasting.
Correct.
We've been accumulating capital money that we haven't spent yet. So we have a little bit of cushion to get the studio back up and running before we start leaning straight on franchise fees.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much for the update. Appreciate it. And we'll see you on the 28th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see. We did that.
You can go back to the poll
I
here.
gotta say, hit to the poll. That's what I'm looking at. Going, okay, I can do that. All right. 6:15. Let me get my right number here. All right. So Tucker Road poll hearing. Need to read this specific piece.
In all actuality, I would read
Yeah, get it. All right. In accordance with the provisions of Section 22, Chapter 166 of the Mass General Laws, you are hereby notified that a public hearing will be held in the conference room at the West Brookfield Town Hall, located at 2 East Main Street, West Brookfield. The hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, October 14th at 6:15 p.m. on the petition from Mass Electric Company, doing business as National Grid, 311-60267, and Verizon New England, Inc., who are requesting permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the following public way. Tucker Road, National Grid to install one JO pole on Tucker Road beginning at the point approximately 140 feet north of the center line of the intersection of Woods Road. National Grid to install a new stub pole 21-84 to support pole 21, Tucker Road, West Brookfield. Members of the public are invited to attend this hearing to express any comments or concerns. If you're unable to attend in person, you can submit your comments and concerns to the town hall prior to the hearing to be included as part of the official records. Did we have any that came in?
no comments.
Correct. Okay. All right.
Good evening.
Good evening. Do you have any information other than what we have so far?
No, we just need to install this pole because there's a new house being built inwards. So
Okay.
we need to put electricity down that way.
Mhm.
So in order to do that, we need to anchor a pole in the street, or else it's going to get pulled over.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Nobody present for this?
No one's come in, no.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve the National Grid to install the pole?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Both polls.
Both, correct. I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
All right, can't do 7 yet. Gonna keep on going.
Yeah, they'll be here about 6:30.
Yep, that's okay. Can we do 8?
Plow contract. Think we can do that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so fiscal 27 snow plowing contract, all construction services. Okay, so it was put out for request for bids.
Mhm.
We have a vendor that's responded that we're moving forward with.
Do we know how we came up with the rate?
That was established. That was established back in the budget process,
Okay.
and that's what was budgeted for.
Okay.
Got insurance policy. Okay, is there a motion? Or do you want to look for another minute?
Make a motion to approve the contract. We need to sign it.
It's probably in the pile here.
Except
Excuse
that.
me.
Yep.
Could I just make a quick suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the contract, if your motion would include, I thought that we put on the agenda, but if it could include the contractor's name, which
Yep.
is All Construction Services Incorporated,
Yep.
in the, at the rate of $150 per hour. Let me see it. Maybe.
Yeah, it's on the agenda that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so truly, the motion could be, I make a motion for the fiscal 2027 snowplow contract to,
And it's a 1-year contract.
2027 budget, you said?
Yep.
Motion for the 2027 highway snow removal and ice project to all construction services at a rate of $150 an hour out of 20 Woodbog Road, West Brookfield.
I'll second that motion. Is there any further questions or comments?
I just have a community question here. This is for fiscal 2027.
That's what I was just going
Yeah,
it's actually for fiscal 2026.
I was going to say, so what happened to this winter?
Strike that 2026. Same,
Okay.
same information beside it applies.
Okay. So I was going to say, I was wondering what happened to this winter.
Yeah.
Did we already have somebody? Okay. Okay, so no further questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. I'm going to say no, we've got a few more minutes. I'm trying to see which things we can do.
Do you want to discuss number 9?
Yep. Okay. An MOU for the Highway Department CDL licensing.
And so this had been discussed when Jim had brought forward how difficult it is to retain qualified employees. And so there used to be a time when the highway departments were able to hire someone and then train them in-house for CDL licensing, and then they would just go and apply for their license and get that. Now, that is not allowed, so the state is requiring that the highway workers and anybody else cannot be trained. They have to go to a school and get their certification. And so we have an employee that has signed up, and in Jim's budget, he has the funding through the educational development line item to pay for this.
Yep.
And he would like the board to consider taking a look at crafting an MOU, which would require that person. So we're saying, yes, we're willing to pay for your certification. However, you're going to remain an employee for the next 2 years. You know, that type of thing. Other communities have been doing that.
Yes.
And so basically we're looking for a vote of the board to say, yes, pursue that language. And we'll bring in a draft MOU before you.
And I think that's the right piece because we need people. I don't agree with paying for 100% of their training and not having any kind of commitment.
Right.
But yet we're spending the money. But if we have some kind of, and an MOU would be that document that allows that, that we have some kind of assurance that we're paying the money of the person staying or some kind of mechanism like that. So I think that's a good plan. And then whatever MOU comes forward that we can fine tune.
Yep.
All right. Is there a motion?
Yeah, make a motion drafting MOU for highway department CDL licensing. Good idea.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
No.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Can we go real quick to number 3? Everyone is blacked out for their addresses and phone numbers and everything. But in number 3, just to show you the concern,
Oh yeah, that shouldn't be there.
all that information is not blacked out,
Yep.
Correct.
but everyone else's addresses are.
No.
Yeah, that should be.
I would address that.
Yeah, that should be.
Okay.
Be done anytime an application is put forward. Any personal information should be redacted.
Sorry about that.
Nope.
I was looking through and
No,
I saw the catch and I was just like, well, addresses, but then that's a little bit more important.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got 5 more minutes before we can go to that item. Do we want to keep going down? Do we want to do 10?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 10 is the Route 9 project property appraisals. Reserve fund transfer. It's a tongue twister.
I know it. So I had put forward to the advisory committee a request for reserve fund transfer of $14,250. These were for 2 appraisals that were done on the Route 9 project. And those appraisals had not been anticipated because it was wildlife and game back then, I guess. And that property that we needed to carve some out for a permanent easement, that property had been purchased by Fishery and Game by the use of federal grant money. And there's a clause in that contract that requires yellow book appraisals. So when the title searches were done, that information wasn't there. It wasn't until Wildlife, which is now Wildlife and Fisheries, reached out to Mass DOT, to their attorneys, and said, "Hey, when are you gonna do the appraisals?" And she was like, "What?" So she reached out to our town council, and town council put forward the question, how did this come about? And she explained it in an email, which you do have a copy of the email. So that email shows it's just the correspondence between the two councils. So this was not something that we knew ahead of time. It's just not something that would be pulled up easily. What she says here is we purchase with licensee funds, which are also federal funds. It's a little different from the federal aid projects in that it is not obvious from the order of taking that federal funds were involved. I'll spare you the long story, but this means that in addition to the appraisal of the permanent easements, we will also need appraisal of the permanent easements on 684 and 466. I apologize, I just found this out today. So I provided them with that, and they had some other questions. There was a thought that maybe there was a line item that included that highway had a line item in their operating budget that included appraisals, and that it was decided not to, that highway decided not to fund that line item. I went back, all the way back to 2018. I did not find any budget that contained that line item. So there's no worry there, but not only that, it wouldn't be on an operating budget because the appraisals are done in conjunction with projects. So you don't have that in your operating budget. Then upon further review, I had been asked at that meeting about, are there contingencies? Who overlooked it? Is this something that engineers should have had in their contract? And that type of thing. But engineers aren't appraisers, so it would never be in their contract. Their sole responsibility is to design the plans. And so when they realize that they're going to encroach on a piece of property, that they will do the ROW plans, but they don't hire the appraisers. They have nothing to do with the appraisals or with the legal work that has to be done in a situation like that. The only contract language that I could find was the contract that is between the town, which I believe you have, Mass DOT contract that is signed by the town select board. And there is verbiage, I believe it's item number 8. You may see it, and then in here as well. But clearly, legal appraisals, any of that work is strictly the obligation of the town, period. So in the contractor's agreement, in the engineer's agreement, there is no source of funds that would be applied to the appraisals. So I did speak with Jim Daly, and going forward, so there aren't expected to be any other appraisals except for the one that we just received a quote for Welcome Road that the board signed off for that land swap with conservation. And that one came in at $3,450. So there'll be that. I have the quote. We need to get that done. And those should be the last of appraisals necessary. But just to be safe for phase 3, we'll circle back with the project team. And by that, I mean with DOT, with the engineers, with town council, just to make sure that there's nothing else remaining for phase 3 that we would be obligated to spend money on outside of engineering. So if we were aware that this was going to come up, we had an article for town meeting for the engineering, we would have just piggybacked that and added the, estimates for the rest. So it's on your agenda. After speaking with Roland, I'm asking that the board support going forward with the request to the advisory committee.
So the question I do have is, up to now, when we've required any of the work that's required by the contract, either land takings, appraisals if we've needed them, where has that been paid for up to now?
I guess the town had used like ARPA funds. You had a significant amount in ARPA. So a lot of the legal and that type of work had been taken out of ARPA. However, you don't have much left in ARPA. It's not going to cover these, unfortunately.
Okay. And if
So
I remember correctly, one of the questions, I know you said the engineers wouldn't know about the appraisal piece, but the construction contract itself, I think, is what was being suggested to look into, is if there's any contingency in the construction project.
No, because the construction only pertains to the construction.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So is this Rosemary, the mass compliant
yeah.
officer? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the part that's difficult is
The timing, I know,
The
it's
timing of it,
uncomfortable. It's
yeah.
very uncomfortable.
I think the hard part is we didn't realize that there was a federal land requirement, that it
Yeah.
was Yellow Book certified, and how much that was going to cost.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew at some point it needed an appraisal, regardless of whatever, and maybe not that specific cost.
And so I go back and I can see that there was a lot of conversation, going all the way back to 2018. There were advisory conversations, select board signed contracts. Jim Daly brought information. There were a lot of, but I have to tell you, when I was doing the warrant for your town meeting, I didn't have that information.
No.
No one said, "Oh, hey, Teresa, by the way," you know what I mean? Like,
No,
so I
because
wouldn't know. But now,
It
you
would've-
better bet.
I was going to say it would have been perfect timing if we knew that appraisals needed to be done, if we were aware, maybe not the exact amount, but to either have something budgeted
Yeah, exactly.
or bring an article to town meeting to have it addressed.
Yeah. And being so early in the fiscal year, it's
Yeah.
very
Where is
hard
the-
pill to swallow.
So Jim's the highway department is going to pay for the Welcome Road appraisal that needs to be done? You said
There's no funds in his accounts that are appropriate.
So-
I was even asked about town road maintenance. Town road maintenance is not appraisals by any stretch of the imagination. It is not an appropriate account to pay. There's nothing in an operating budget that is appropriate, with the exception of professional services. The only line item or budget that I'm aware of, is Board of Selectmen. And the only reason that line item had been created, which was created late in the game, was because the select board didn't have an avenue to be able to pay for professional services. Now, if I had put anything in that line item, it would never have been to the tune of $14,000.
No.
So when I was asked in an email to check the select board's line item for professional services, I can tell you factually that there is nothing that we can use in professional services. So
So let me clarify. You mentioned earlier that there's one more appraisal
there is
coming.
one more, yeah.
Where is that going to get paid
That's
for from?
we're going to have to submit another request.
Okay. This is where I'm having a problem. That's not unanticipated. It's
The
part of-
Welcome Road?
No, an appraisal. We know about it. We didn't budget for it. There's a difference to you.
But who would have budgeted for that?
Like, I'm not going to budget for it if I don't know about it.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but what I'm saying is, in my world, reserve fund transfers are for unanticipated emergencies. Those are the kind of things where all of a sudden a boiler stops working. That's unanticipated and that's an emergency because nobody budgets for those kind of things.
So, do you
But-
know of another account that we can legally take it out of?
Well, we have a couple different choices, and this is where we probably need to talk to the town accountant as well, is whatever ARPA money we do have, that's where it's been paid for from then. We need to figure out how much is there, put that towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other piece that we have is prior year bills get paid
At the
at town meeting. I mean, to take $20,000 out of a reserve fund transfer in the middle of October already, if we have something happen, they're not going to have a whole lot of money to do anything if we run into that situation during the winter.
When's this appraisal due?
It's already
now.
done.
Welcome one's already done.
Welcome.
No, the ones that are already
The
done are the
14,000.
14.
Okay,
14,000.
what about the Welcome Road?
That one has not been started as of yet, but it needs to.
Well, I'm just saying, I wonder if we could do like a special town meeting to take a line item out or change some money from highway from that account.
Well, if we had a special town meeting scheduled for other business, but to have it for those two pieces, I'm not sure.
We should probably have one for legal.
Yeah, so that might be a discussion at the next next selectmen's meeting,
Yeah.
what to do, whether we need that or not. Rather
Then you
than
can change a line item at that
waiting
point.
till June.
Mm.
I would rather see that done, have a discussion, and if we need a town meeting, otherwise the prior year bills. To me, this is where, and I'm not blaming anybody, I think we need to be very clear of those kind of things. How much does it cost? Who's paying for it? Where's the money coming from?
Mm.
In my world, that's how finances
sure.
operate.
Sure.
And
So
I'm not
if you
blaming
knew that
anyone.
there was going to be an appraisal needed for Welcome Road,
Yeah.
then okay. But did you know that there were for the 14,000?
I don't think we knew it needed to be a yellow book, and I don't
Yeah,
think we didn't at the time know it was going to be so much.
Yeah.
But we probably knew that it needed an appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
So where was that, some money going to come from for that?
Mm.
And the fact that it's 14 versus maybe we would have estimated 4,000 or 5,000.
Mm-hmm. So if that were paid out of reserve fund and we go to special for the legal and the remaining appraisal dollars, then you could always put back money into the reserve fund.
We could.
Yeah, we can do that too.
I'd rather see what we're going to do with our next selectmen's meeting about whether we want to have a special, because to have just the reserve fund transfer take that much money, because we'd have to take that plus this out of the reserve because we have no other means, which again, this is not unanticipated. I know
Well,
it's not
I'd say
budgeted for.
Welcome Road is unanticipated, but the other two, they've been done.
But we knew about them. We just didn't know the dollar amount. We didn't know it was federal with a yellow book, which brought the price up. And that's where I'm saying I don't want to start using the reserve fund transfer for everything that pops up that people don't know that they didn't budget for. It's my concern about doing that. It's
The select board should have budgeted for it.
I think if nothing, we should have raised the questions, and whether it got budgeted for, or at town meeting we have an article, something that it was going to be an estimated amount of money, and whether it hit it exactly on it, it would have been helpful up
But
until
it would
now.
have been helpful, but
Yeah. Because
So-
I think we knew that the appraisals were being done, but probably not how much, and that they'd be yellow book. So we would have had some money someplace, probably just not enough is what the problem would have been. And then this one just popped up as well. And that's what my concern is right now. Are there going to be more that we just don't know about yet?
Then again, where we can pull what funds, what line items would we be pulling from?
We'll be working on it with advisory and the town accountant to figure it out.
well, I think
So-
if you decide to go to special town meeting,
Yeah.
you're just going to dump the money into professional services.
Right.
and then pay it out of that.
Yeah, but where it's gonna come from,
Where are we pulling?
yeah, that's gonna be the question.
Yeah, probably stabilization.
So rather than
So
moving
should I
forward
just pull the application then? If you're not
for
gonna,
the reserve fund,
yeah,
I would
'cause I
until,
think Melinda's here. Yeah,
so I would say I would rather wait until a meeting on the 28th of October, figure out what we're gonna do with the special town meeting
yeah,
and whether we're gonna agree to do that,
okay.
and that way we can figure out what avenue, get the bills paid. Vendors have done work.
Take it off of your agenda, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
And then we can address what we're gonna do with the special town meeting
Yeah,
and whether we can
yeah,
address it that way.
sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go back to number 7. Tree lighting on the common.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Who wants to start?
Okay, I'll try. Sorry. Pop this over here. All right, I'm Madeline. I'm new to the White Christmas Committee, so I'm gonna do my best here. So my understanding is that the tree it's really large, and that's problematic as far as getting the light, like the tree, to be able to be lit safely. We have a quote from a company who is willing to take off the lights because all the lights that are on there now need to be removed. They're all damaged. They're willing to take off all the lights and string up new lights, and at the end of the season, remove those lights, store them, and then put them back on the following year. But it is quite pricey. It's outside of what we're capable of doing. So it's $7,000 for them to do that. We had someone named Jimmy who used to be doing this for White Christmas. Was volunteer strictly, and back in 2023 he expressed that he couldn't keep doing it. It was too much on his plate. And in 2024 he checked the tree out just to be courteous and said that everything was good to go. And now we're here. We've been trying to coordinate with the Common Committee and just trying to figure out how we can move forward, because we can't do a $7,000 budget for maintaining the lights on that big tree. And we don't want to have to remove tree lighting from the White Christmas program.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to see what could possibly be options. Yeah.
So initially when we sent the letter, it was that we were looking to potentially transfer the committee that would be responsible for it, potentially to the Common Committee. But now having numbers, I don't even think that that's something that is feasible, even if both of our committees took it on. And to have something as huge as the tree lighting and as how big our tree is, like to have that just all of a sudden not happen, we need to make sure that everybody's on board for whatever that looks like. I know that they planted a smaller tree, kind of like in the shadow of the tree.
Right, yep.
It's still really small. Do we want to pivot to starting to decorate that? We've also discussed like if we can't if we can't do like the tree, then if we did one of those like lighted flagpole things that from a distance looks like a tree.
But again, that would entail like highway department, putting a hole in the ground, stringing the lights up.
So this guy that we got a quote from, it's Arsenal in Spencer, the guys that do all the big like displays. And he came out and assessed it. He said that is the largest tree that we would have ever been asked to do. He said it is extremely like thick, and that it's at the top of where his truck is able to make it. He can still do it at the height that it's currently at, but like Jimmy Rust, he was at the maximum that his truck could do. It took him 3 days. He had to hire an extra person. Like it was no longer feasible for him to help us with.
Jimmy actually trimmed the tree a few years back.
Right.
I don't know if you all know this, but there is a star up there that you cannot see.
Right,
Because it's so overgrown on the top.
So like we just kind of feel like we're out of room, like we've run out of options, and our event is on December 7th this year. I need to go to print. And I feel like at this point we've kind of also run out of pivot room. Like, I need to know what everybody wants to do.
So right now, are the lights not working at all? Because I
So
thought
we
last year
bought
they were
brand new
working.
lights and put them on in 2023, but have not had anybody to take them down and put them back up. So when these guys went and looked at the lights, he said they're likely damaged. He said they're incredibly sun bleached. They started out with a green cord. The cord is now white. He said, I don't know that it's safe. He said it's probably a fire hazard. We tried to give it a go to see if it would even turn on, but the lights are the cords were all the way up in the tree and we
So
weren't going to climb
I
them.
talked to Ann at the highway department. The highway department went down today and pulled the cords from way up high and dropped
So
them
we can
down.
even
So
see
we
what we're
can
working
go
with.
now and
Yeah.
plug them in and see what it looks like. I know every single year Jimmy replaces sections and bulbs on there.
Yep.
So it's not like just this year. They're really
No,
like every year
yeah.
they need a little bit of maintenance and upkeep. Lights are just not meant to be left on the tree all year long. I know when Dick Rossman was in charge of White Christmas, he used to adamantly make them take the lights down. When we kind of stepped into this role, Jimmy had kind of pleaded with us like, it's a lot of work. I would prefer not to do that. So we were like, okay, like that's okay with us.
Right.
Because you're basically volunteering
Your time and
I
energy,
think
yeah.
we paid him $400.
Yeah.
Like, which is nothing, honestly, for his time and effort.
So in 2023, we put a new set of lights on, is what
Yeah.
we're
I think
saying?
it was longer than that.
Was it
I'm the one
22?
that bought them.
Yeah.
I think it was
22.
before
Okay.
that.
23.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So we planted a new tree. That's
small.
been,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that happened this summer down Summer Point. It was just there one day.
All right, so there are a set of lights there right now.
We don't know.
We
what
don't know the
integrity of them-
functionality of them.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the highway department got the wires down so we could figure out whether they're going to work
Yep.
or
I
how much
can
of it
go
would
and plug
work.
them in now.
Yeah,
Check
that
them
was
out. Yeah.
our
Okay.
plan.
All right, so that's probably going to be the first piece we need to
Yeah,
figure
like
out.
if they're okay for this year,
Yeah.
like give it a go. I mean, if
Right.
last year we plugged them in, there were multiple strands out.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what becomes the issue right now, to all of a sudden come up with a $7,000 bill
Yeah.
that we weren't expecting.
Totally. No, that's our whole budget for the year.
A month
The whole
before,
thing.
and nobody's budget has that money in
Right.
it, and it's different than what we were doing in the past.
Correct.
Yeah, we were really
Versus-
lucky to have Jimmy do it, to be honest with you, in
Yeah.
hindsight now.
Right.
Like, really lucky.
Can the lights work this year, and then we address it at town meeting to appropriate money going forward in future years,
Okay.
if that's the case. And whoever's budget and who's going to do that piece of it,
Right.
we can work out. But I'm just trying to think of for December 7th, making sure the lights work. Because I understand Jim's done a lot of volunteering for us in the past.
Mel, how many years has he been doing this?
I have no
also
idea.
it'd be fun to smell the tree. If we're gonna start moving to a different tree.
I know
When do we-
it's
when
so little comparative to like what.
Well, I mean,
we've always
additional,
had, you know.
smaller tree, then poles kind of around the common, kind of encompass the whole thing, than just one tree. If we're gonna start moving into a different direction,
Right. What
maybe,
direction
yeah,
we're
what
going.
direction is.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Exactly. And
Well,
we
you-
just don't want to make that decision ourselves.
While you're saying that, a couple of years ago we put out like a little survey to see like what kind of decorations the town would like, and numerous people time after time were like, we should do all the
the white lights on
the white lights around, not the pine trees, what are those?
The-
hardwood trees.
Yeah. all around
They
the
would
common.
love to see that all along the common. However, there's no power outlets, like anywhere around the common, so you'd have to involve an electrician.
I was going to say sometimes it's the logistics of what would
Right,
be.
and like we have tried some
Because
solar
I've even
lights,
taken
but
a
that
picture of
Or lighting up the fountain.
the Christmas tree.
we're not touching
Yeah.
the phone.
Because I had
Yeah,
to
I
take
know
a picture.
Yeah,
of
no,
it.
terrifying. No, don't touch that.
The fountain.
Is there any way to light the tree from the ground just with spotlights? I mean, it would light the tree. If these lights don't work, would there be a way to just mount some spotlights and still in a dark night, the
Yeah.
tree's going to look cool.
Right.
And it shouldn't
How do
cost
we keep people
$7,000.
from,
Oh, messing with the
right, with the
lights.
lights?
Because
Right
kids
now
and
they're
stuff
pulling
do
the
play.
cord,
Yeah.
and that's why we had to
Climb
have them
fountain.
all the way up on the tree.
Well, can I ask too, is this $7,000 an annual budget that you'd need, or is it just the first,
Yeah.
this would be $7,000
If
a
you're,
year?
if you're
Yeah.
putting them up and taking
Yeah.
them down, it's
Yeah.
now created
Yeah,
an annual piece that needs to get
that
done.
gets pricey.
And that would also, I mean, obviously they'd change any bulbs that need to be replaced. Like they'd be responsible for all the maintenance of those strands of lights. It would kind of take that off of us.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, do you have any information you want to, questions?
No, I'm just, again, transitioning from the bigger tree to maybe the smaller tree, and then some other type of decorations might be something that we look at in the near future. Just kind of, I know it's initially going to be some grumbles from folks, but
Right, and that's what we're.
but I mean,
mostly
but you know
concerned
what?
about
I mean,
About the $7,000
yeah,
also.
well, the $7,000.
Take your pick.
Either
But,
way.
but I mean, I again, I know money is tight. I think Sturbers just recently redid their common, and they had some like green community grant where they put in different poles around the town, and then ended up putting outlets at the bottom.
Mm.
So maybe that's something to look into for next year. To put
Is
lights.
that
To put
something that
lights.
the town would have to look into because it's green communities that we couldn't, as a committee member, do that, right?
Right.
Yeah, we
Right.
piggyback off the
But
town, so
I
we don't
think
have
what
to-
you're talking about is actually complete streets.
Complete streets. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my apologies.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
But
Well, maybe something
We
like
did
that,
that in
or a
Brookfield as well.
beautification line or something.
which was helpful.
So I think the question really is, what can we do for this Christmas, and then what should we do going forward?
Mhm.
So for this Christmas, trying to find out if the lights will work.
Yep.
Would be the first thing.
I mean,
This
we
right
can do it
after,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, so if we could do that, and even if you could let us know by our next meeting, which is October 28th, because at least if they're working,
Well, someone wants to
we
run
can
out
get
there
us
and-
through this. We can get us through this year, and maybe we make the transition. Maybe we, if it's possible, we decorate the small tree this year also.
Yep.
And
As like a-
get everybody transition of
Right.
it's going to become.
Right.
And at town meeting next year, then let the voters decide if they want to spend the money
Put the money on
to do that, or are they okay with doing the smaller one instead of the large one?
At the same time, too, if like the community knows how much money this is, like I wonder if there are other local tree people that would volunteer their time like Jimmy did. I don't know if we should even go that route.
Well, I know it's getting pretty big.
It's
That's
It's huge. Like to have the guy.
Yeah,
that's
to
been
have
doing
someone
it for
go up there, I
25
mean, that's a
years and be
lift.
like,
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
rough.
that's
How much do you raise with the donate a light thing?
Definitely just a couple $100, right?
$400 if we're lucky. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's not
Yeah.
much.
It's
It's
not much
literally
at all.
enough to like replace light bulbs.
Buy some
if
light
needed
bulbs,
to
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
So not really.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't
Heather,
have.
we have a community bulletin board. Do you want to post anything on the bulletin board about, needed donations up to $7,000 to relight the tree?
All of these are options. I guess
Yeah.
it's kind of just like what do we all want to do? Because I don't believe that it should just be solely our decision. It involves everybody.
it does.
We are going to have backlash, so I would like everybody's support so that we're kind of unified in this decision, and our committee doesn't have
Right.
to.
We
And
don't
I-
want to be the bad guys. for
No,
sure.
I think it's a combination. It's the Common Committee, it's the White Christmas Committee, the Select Board of, these are the options we had, this is what we're thinking of doing. And as I said, if we could get it working for this year and then address it at town meeting, then you've got a larger group that are going to hear the explanation of why
Right.
and whether they need it and whether they vote to do that because they want it and it's important, then that's what happens. And if not, then the alternative would be we decorate the small one or some other options that we're able to do. But I think working together to try to come up with some solutions is the best thing.
Yeah, like if the town people want to continue to do the big tree, who knows how long we have with it? It could fall down next year, not even be an option. Like
Correct.
Right.
so.
Yep.
I think we kind of have to take it year by year.
Yep. And I think putting something in the town meeting to pay for that for the next year, 1 year at a time, if that's what happens, would be our best plan if voters want to do that.
Right.
And that way the funds would be there, or at least to get lights. So if you could find out if the lights are working currently, and then we could put it on our agenda for the 28th to get an update. And
Do we not want to talk further about if the lights don't work right now, like, do we want to do Plan B at all, or do we want to totally wait until?
I mean, I'm saying if the Plan B, if the lights don't work, if you can't do the 7,000, it'd probably have to be the smaller tree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't push printing back to the.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
No,
that just kind of
We
comes
initially
down with.
sent them the letter probably in August or something, or July maybe, I don't know. So it just kind of got kicked down the road and now here we are.
So definitely like the small tree, not like the flagpole tree, or like where has kind of this fake PC tree. We could get a white one, like.
Right.
Do you just want to go for the small tree and not try anything else?
So I guess the difference to me would be with the small tree being decorated that's already planted there.
Yeah.
Versus we'd have to purchase something else and install that.
Right.
Well, then
And look at some of that, and they're not super expensive. That's something
Right.
that our committee might be able
Would be able to, like,
well, I'm saying you
the
guys
lighted
could
flagpole
add
tree,
something like White Christmas, like a illuminated light that's held up. I mean, if someone messes with it, obviously that's going to be
Right.
investigated,
They're gonna mess with
but
it
something
either
that
way,
would maybe add to it, and that should fall within your budget item, right?
So sorry, new to all of these like things. So if that was an avenue that we took, like say we did like the poultry and that was within our budget, is this meeting like saying yes, we have the green light to do that? Like, as
What
far
we
as
need to
like,
find out is what needs to be done, because I think you have mentioned, Heather, that the highway department would have to install something.
It looks as though they're usually made from a pre-existing flagpole that's probably cemented into the ground.
Oh, and it's strung off of that.
Right.
Yeah, so, in which, I don't think there's anything over there that's like
There
that.
is one, but it's near the memorial.
It's by the memorial.
And
I don't think
really
that
wanna
would be
mess with that.
No,
appropriate.
no,
Right.
I wouldn't say so. No.
If the tree, when you go and light it, if it looks like it just needs a couple of strings to be redone or something, like, could you maybe reach out to another tree guy? There's the guy in Brookfield,
Chafee?
Hayes.
Yeah. Oh.
Hayes.
Also, on a side note, I know everyone says everyone needs electric. Today's day and age, solar lights are a big thing, and maybe that's something that picks up off a tree.
We did try.
Did you?
When people drive by, we put solar lights out here on the front, and when lights hit it, they shut off. So it like is constantly.
It's like strobing. Yeah.
Trying to think out
Running, I know.
trying to think out loud for you.
And then, so my other question is, if this, I mean, when he looked at the light strands, he was concerned about their integrity. Like, if we go turn it on, it turns on today. That's great, fine, wonderful. But if if that thing torches, like.
Then we don't have to worry about
I, yes, we
I'm really
You don't have to worry about lights then.
well, as long as it's the understanding is that could happen if we leave, if we do decide to go that route with the big guy this year. All right.
Well,
All right. Well, I'll go plug it in.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll report back. I'll let you know.
probably could have happened up at any point up until now as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. The other choice we have is to just use a small tree,
Right.
without, other than people knowing that this is why we did that.
We were gonna do like a thing in our booklet, just kind of explaining, but we needed to know what our plan was.
Yeah.
So, just like saying we've had a great time with this tree, but
Yep.
our time is coming to an end, and
Well, maybe that's the perfect timing of we just planted the other replacement tree.
it's just
I know. Got to start somewhere.
I know.
Everybody,
So did the big
everyone
one.
loves a Charlie Brown story.
right.
Times are tough.
Yeah.
Maybe we add something additional to that one. So that would be where I'd suggest we go.
Okay.
Do you have any other alternative pieces?
No, I also like the idea of maybe shining lights up into the tree, but yeah, kids mess with
Yeah,
it.
they get.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
If the fire trucks start dwindling and you know that the light.
Teresa, out of the reserve fund, is that going to be different than stabilization? Or is it just a reserve fund?
Yeah.
Okay.
Reserve fund.
Yeah, no, the reserve fund is a fund that is just overseen by the finance committee only. And it's for,
Well, my only worry then, if we went back to that, is if we don't get a 2/3 vote for stabilization to remove it, because that's what you need, where do we stand?
Yeah.
Well, we gotta come up with a funding source of $14,000 somewhere. I think we
Then
had
at
a couple
that point,
$1,000 left in the budget.
But then at that point, then we have to hit the reserve fund.
Well, but we also have a little bit of ARPA. We have a little bit that maybe is gonna get paid from a couple different places. It doesn't have to be all from one place.
Do you recall what we have in ARPA?
And ARPA, yeah, unfortunately with the ARPA funds, the only amount that is really there is for engineering, phase 3.
Well,
That's it. I mean, I have
But is that
$100 or $200 left for legal.
but is
And that's
the
it.
ARPA for phase 3 committed that they,
Can we-
committed that
can
they've
we
already
pull-
started the work?
Can we pull from phase
We
3 and
can't
then?
touch it. We can't change anything with ARPA because it's all like federal funds. I have to solidify everything. It was last March. It was the last deadline for everything. And they have to be used by the end of next calendar year.
It's also the same project work. It's all to do with the
I know.
Route 9 construction,
Yeah.
period. So
Yeah,
it's
they
not
lock
like
you in. I'm not allowed to change anything on what's
Yeah.
been put in the system, fortunately.
but to tie money up on phase 3 that we don't know. And if we haven't signed a contract and are doing the work for phase 3 and getting phase 3, why are we committing that piece of it?
Yeah. But you've already you have signed a contract for the preliminary phase 3 though.
Yeah, we did sign that contract.
Sure did.
CHA, I believe this one. The mapped out.
Yeah, I want to say that was in 2023 was the preliminary phase 3 with DOT.
Can we just, we're from the common committee, and obviously we didn't discuss this letter that was sent out to us. So
I'm
we
Bob
just,
Richard, Chairman of the Common Committee. This is
Cassie Palucci.
Secretary. Yeah, we were asked to be here
Yes.
to address their request or their confirmation. They gave us a letter, or the White Christmas Committee sent us a letter saying that they formally confirmed the transfer of the White Christmas tree responsibility to the Common Committee. So we were kind of here to address that.
Right.
Weren't sure if they had the authority to do that.
No,
and-
because they sent it to the select board as well,
They
that
did.
they wanted that done because they weren't going to do it anymore, but they got quotes.
That's why we were surprised.
I know it came about the tree. I was going to actually ask about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been dealing with the Christmas tree for many, many years.
Yeah.
We met with the tree warden several years ago, and he brought it to our attention that the tree was diseased and that it was an issue coming down or not, or should be taken down before it came down. So we researched planting a new tree, and we finally did, thanks to Cassie Palucci. She purchased a tree in memory of her late husband and was planted. And I think we searched to see the best spot on the common to plant the tree. We finally found that spot, and so that's how that new tree got planted where it is now.
we didn't know about the previous tree, and we have emails explaining why we didn't want that tree there. He just, the morning of, we found out they're digging a hole in the common. And the thing is, we also deal with the fountain, and the fountain is very delicate,
Susceptible to-
and you can't have a lot of stuff near it. And the way this tree was going, it was too close to the fountain. So it wasn't like we were trying to fight with anybody. It was about
The right
the
placement.
placement of the tree and the wires and dig safe. There's so much to it, but I don't want people to think that we're against the Christmas tree, because that is certainly, Christmas is my favorite holiday. So
Oh, yeah.
Great question. So can we light up the fountain, since the fountain hasn't been operational all summer?
you can light it. I don't know if you want to put light. We're working on getting it painted and everything like that. So
We can't put additional lights on it. We have internal lights in the bowls that can be lit. And certainly looking to doing that. They haven't been functional for a couple of seasons now, but we can replace them if that's something that want to
it's our
do.
budget. We're working on so many different things right now. Electrical, all kinds of stuff. But the common's kind of taking a back seat. So we're working on getting everything safe. But and that's probably for another thing, and we probably should put out a press release kind of saying, well, you know, we got the bubbler back up and running. We've done a lot of things, but I don't think the town really knows all the stuff we've done, you know. The tree thing, though, we just kind of wanted to address because it was kind of like thrown at us like we don't care, and that's not the point at all.
And that's why we received the email as well that the White Christmas Committee was going to no longer take care of the lighting of the Christmas tree, and that thought that the Common Committee should do that. And that's why we said, let's have a meeting and discuss it.
Exactly.
So when they said they had an estimate to have it done, but the money wasn't in their budget, we didn't think the Common Committee had it in their budget
We
either.
don't have $7,000 for lights.
So
Now we got to paint the fountain and do all kinds of stuff,
That's right.
electrical wise. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
And there was
projects.
a big issue with the pump. That's why.
yes,
That's why.
yes,
And we're spending thousands to make that pump, figure out that pump.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot of back and forth with that, but that's for a whole nother.
yeah. So I know that, you know, the highway department was called, they went and pulled the lights down for the White
Yes.
Christmas Committee. So,
Yes.
you know, they're still actively trying to work on it. They're
Yeah.
just trying to figure out what to do if those lights aren't going to work this year.
Sure,
What else to do?
right.
And the new tree is it 6 feet tall?
That's probably 6 feet.
Yeah.
So
And John Orello from Town and Country donated his time, called Dig Safe, and had
Yeah.
it planted properly, which I thought was great too. And we're gonna give him his, you know, props for doing that at some point.
Are you guys going to plan on trimming it?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
John will help with that.
Just to kind of make sure it
John
grows
does-
and
yeah.
Yeah, he's been trimming the bushes around the bandstand too, because those are very special trees that need to be trimmed properly. So it's just finding the right person. And John is a great guy. So
There was a lot of research done to
yes,
get the proper species of tree that's going to grow straight. And
yeah. There's something. Is it leaders? Or one lead? You can only have like one. With the other tree that was purchased had 5, so that would do the same thing.
Yep.
Again, so that's kind of like we really put some effort into it. With it. So we talked to Jim DeMayo about it. There was, you know, quite a bit that went into it. So
And if the tree that's existing there now has a disease issue on top of it, the tree's not going to last.
no. And the one
How long it will last is the question anyhow.
and the other one that's kind of on the other opposite side also is diseased and it's a matter of time. So that's why we kind of put it in the middle.
Yeah.
So you can still join, you know, have people meet in the middle, won't get hurt or, you know, and not be around other things.
Yep.
So that's kind of why we chose that spot for the electrical and all that too.
And it'll be something that will be different and change,
Exactly.
whether it's this year or next year.
Exactly. It's exciting.
Yes.
I think once the town sees what we're trying to do, or
Yeah.
I think if there's something goes out that, you know, there is enough money, I'm sure the town would step up, or businesses would step up to help. They
Yeah.
really do.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens when they try to test the
got a
lights.
great new community board.
The TV Studios revolving community message board
Yeah,
is a place to promote what you're doing
Yeah.
or who to thank or
and that's wonderful. I didn't
Or
know.
things that are needed
Get your
that,
contact.
that you're looking for. I mean,
yeah.
it's a way to get the word out
Definitely.
that will help. So, yes, it hasn't been passed to Common Committee.
Okay, wonderful.
They're going to respond back to us.
One less thing on the list. Great.
Yeah, and then we'll go from there as far as, appropriating that kind of money on an annual basis. That's something that needs to be addressed at town meeting.
Yeah.
For the voters.
Yeah.
I mean, there isn't any money in any of the budgets to do that, no matter who's in charge of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
So if that's what they're going to do, we need to take a look at it.
I hope we find something local with a boom truck that can maybe add to the lights that are there or repair the lights. I know in the past they had taken them down every year, and that kind of saved them from deteriorating.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, maybe just adding more lights to the broken strands that are not working might be the best way to go, the cheapest way to go.
Yeah. Yep. Sure. Okay. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, John.
I can talk to you more about, just
Okay.
there's not much to format, it's just give us a
Good got next on the agenda.
Number 11.
Cassie, I
Number 11.
To have
Fiscal 2027 operating budget process.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the budget at some point. We're gonna do a dedication and all.
Okay.
So you want to send it my way?
Okay.
When I came,
Wonderful, thank you.
we were already, the budget commencement had already gone out and all of that. So I didn't land in the budget, I want to say, at least until like February or so in that process. So there's some gaps, and so I wasn't sure, but I did reach out to John, because if we're going to go forward with a levy budget cap, we need to pull that information before we can issue a commencement letter or decide how we're going to approach that and what type of instruction we will give department heads. And so typically that information comes from your financial team, like the assessors, the LA5, right?
Yeah.
And your accountant, your treasurer, collector, and all of that. But here you have a financial consultant. I did reach out to John. I'm hoping to hear back from him. But I had a conversation with Donna, who did tell me that he's been working on the projections and that he has access to Gateway. And so he's able to pull that information. And so I want an opportunity to talk with him about the projections and just to understand where he's at and at what point do we receive that information. And then my questions for this board is, do you typically at the beginning, like before a commencement letter goes out, do you strategize on how you want to based on those projections and include information, like we already have a good idea. We know that, certain line items we don't have control about, but we've got a pretty good idea of what those are going to come back at, and so we'd probably plug those in. And just from I'm nervous. I'm nervous about time. I mean, I understand I jumped in late, but I don't want to put that type of pressure on advisory either, and John and the board in trying to finalize a budget, and we're right down to the wire. And quite frankly, I don't want to stress myself out either. That was really, quite a.
This might be the year, based on where we ended up last year and what John is projecting for next year. This might be the year that the board would consider asking the departments to prepare two budgets.
Yeah.
What they need.
Yeah.
And then what John comes up with of, this is all we have.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things too, is that I think this has to be truly not just about fiscal 27's budget, but it also has to be in preparing for the years ahead. And the feedback that I've gotten back, even when bringing it up, at a meeting, was that I feel that there probably will be two budgets that we're asking for. I got the sense, and I continue to get the sense, that a Prop 2.5 is not something that anyone's really looking to pursue per se for this fiscal year, because last time it was shot down. And it's not something we should walk in, I suppose, quickly. So maybe what we do is, I can already see like the numbers. We're chances are we haven't, we're not going to show a whole lot of growth in revenues compared to last fiscal year, being that we had already supplemented the budget by over $400,000. Even if we were to ask the departments and all of them to level fund, right off the bat will already be that $400,000 short, but also short with any of the uncontrollable increases that we'll face. So that's a lot of money, but it's long term, it's really important for the town to get away from using free cash at all to supplement their budgets. And this has been an ongoing thing that has increased each year. And advisory, I just read it was a fiscal 2021 report that they did. I think it was in their annual report. And they really stressed that this is not a best management practice. We really need to get away from doing this, right? And that was back then. And here we are today approaching, the budget process for fiscal 27, and we're still there, only in a bigger way. And so I think this may be the year that, the board and the committee and that will have to make a really tough decision. And that it's going to require that to get away from using free cash to supplement your budget. And because we've supplemented the budgets year after year after year, we literally have no bond rating. And that's never a good thing. So I think as part of the process, maybe if we have to make significant cuts, maybe we think about, if we're not going to go for Prop 2.5 for fiscal 27, maybe we keep it on the radar for 28 and use 27 to try to bring the budget into the means that we have and make sure we've got policies in place for free cash and how that is to be utilized. And, for your capital stabilization, your general stabilization, and perhaps we plan out another stabilization account that is meant to supplement when needed. So again, we're not using free cash. Then year after year and over time, you're building up that bank to do so, which would be I think a little more acceptable in the practice than continuing to use your free cash in that amount. We may have some good things that come back to us this year, but we don't know. It's all uncertainty. And we may have some grim stuff right now with the way, the state right now is kind of going, and sitting on things. So we don't really know what that's going to look like either. It's really going to be tough. So I'm hoping to hear back from John with those numbers, and I wanted to know if the board typically meets up front with John, the advisory committee, and the financial team to kind of hammer out how you want to move forward with the budgets based on, an anticipated levy cap, how do you usually do that? And if you do, and if you don't, is that something that you would want to do, given that this, I think, is probably going to be one of your toughest years yet? And then we have to consider department head meetings.
Yep. So if I remember correctly, last year's budget piece, the town administrator sent something out, I believe,
October.
Like I said, the end of October.
No, it was
November?
the beginning of October.
Because
That's
he
why
was
I'm
leaving.
sweating it. Yeah.
No, he was leaving. That's why.
Oh, that's why
He
it
did
went
it before he went.
All right.
Because I think it was normally the beginning of November, like the year before,
Okay.
that needed to be done and submitted back to him by like Thanksgiving time frame.
Yeah.
So that way he had December to start looking at it, and then advisory started working on it January, February.
Okay.
Brad, you can fill me in if the select board met with John pre-making that determination, or?
No, I think the last budget session was when we really started sitting down with advisory, because we started getting down to the crunching numbers.
Yep. But that was the advisory piece, so it wasn't John.
Correct. No, it wasn't John. I mean, I, if I may, I agree with Teresa wholeheartedly. I think if we do go to a two-budget thing, it's almost going to be stressing to the fact that it's either going to be level and prepare for cuts. That's going to be your two budget items of needs and wants. Because I hate my analogy, but the way we've been going the last few years, we're spending money like a drunk teenager at college.
I wouldn't go so far to say that. So to me, it's not a needs and a wants budget. It's what you need to run it and operate it. But if the number that those all don't come to be, and we need to, for instance, take a 0.5%, whether it's level funded or whatever, how would they get there?
Yeah. And
So,
that's
again,
a good point. And that's where I think it's very important, because the public's going to need to understand the impacts. And so, part of the process is not just filling out the budget, but there's the narrative. And I think it'll be really important if, say, we had to, under a certain budget amount, let's say for any budget over 100 or under 100, it's a 5%, or whatever the case may be, for cuts, that each department that's making those cuts and identifying where they're going to take those cuts out of, that they put in that narrative what the impact on service that's going to be. One thing that I seem to have heard over and over and over is that it's been said to the public, and I could see it, I saw it in writing today, right? We heard it echo at town meeting. Now, granted, this was the first town meeting I went to, but I've heard it from advisory, that this has been a problem for a long time. But until people really understand the services that they're getting and what it looks like when they're not getting that level anymore, right? And then we're not the other thing that has come to me by many has been the idea that somewhere there's the golden pot. I don't know where that pot is, but
the money tree.
There's the money. Yeah. And then it's interesting because people tend to want to believe that it's mismanagement of the funds. It's a problem with the management of the funds, financial management, whether they're pointing the finger at the board, whoever they're pointing the fingers at. But this past week, at the end of the week, I received a really great article. It was a report I sent to you guys that MMA sent around. And it was this study done on all the cities and towns in Massachusetts and the financial dilemma. And it was so crystal clear in reading that. It was really well written and easy to understand. So even someone without a municipal finance background could understand what it was saying. And really what it was saying is, we're not alone. We're not alone, and your expenses are growing faster than your revenues are. And that was it. That is exactly what advisory had said in fiscal 2021. Yep. And with brevity, but it was the same thing you're reading in this article of facts. So I felt like it would be a good idea. Roland emailed me back and said, yes, do that. you know, post it, send it to all the departments and that, and just get it out there so that, you know, anyone that takes the time to read it, and I'm hoping department heads will, maybe it'll give them a little more insight, because budget season's just always a negative thing.
Yes, it is.
But they don't understand the backside, and that might really connect some dots and get us all on the same.
I did put it on the website today. It's on
Yes.
the front page, so.
I mean, I would like to be transparent about how the process is going, because in the end, most of the people that show up are going to be the town representatives, especially employees that are working and living here. I think we do need to sit down and just say, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we're going to have to do. So at least they're prepared, because I'm going on my third town meeting, and people being like, you're not transparent. Where's this? You know what I mean? I want department heads to be on board, or at least be aware and informed
in advance.
Of what, in advance.
My fear is I do not want to issue something like this to the department heads without us having a sit-down conversation, like everybody.
Yeah.
And here, you know what I mean?
I think it needs to start with the select board advisory.
Yeah.
Yourself, and John. Of what does he see?
And the financial team. I think that would.
But that piece of it, the financial group first. That way, then the board can give some direction of this is what you ask the departments, and then you can have a meeting with them to explain the situation. I think this is going to be the 2-version budget year.
But the biggest thing too is we have a lot of projects coming up.
Absolutely.
The building, decrepit,
everything.
Yep. And I hate seeing the free cash used to balance a budget. We're overspending. Can't do that, and we have other things that we need to purchase. So I don't.
And so typically, and I see what you're saying, and you're right. And so that goes in line with capital planning, right? And you'll always want to have your nest egg in stabilization for other stuff that is not projects, right? Project driven. So your capital stabilization should be for the smaller projects per se, right? So you're getting a handful of those taken care of, which I think is exactly what we saw, but it was at the end of, because we have no choice, because we're trying to balance, go into town meeting with a balanced operating budget. Yeah. And so it's whatever's left over, there's a pick and choose. And that's not quite the way it's supposed to go.
No, correct.
It's going to take us years to right this ship.
Yeah.
But then on some of these bigger projects, we may really truly be facing a time frame of urgency in some cases, right? So larger capital projects, we should be considering borrowing. But then, you know, there's the debt, right?
Then the debt has to be budgeted.
Yep. So it's all the way around. What I would like to say is I don't want to give it a complete negative. I think that there are many things that we can do long term. You know, we can start in the short term and let these improvements play out long term. One of them would be procurement. So procurement of supplies, maybe fuels. We'll be having a conversation again with Quabog this week. To talk about joining them in their procurement, which may save us some money. Now, is it going to cure our budget? No, but we have to start somewhere, wherever we can. Lord knows Beth has been shaving down, you know, anything she can as far as expenses go. She also took on the task of taking a look at the select board licensing and permitting. Because you know what? If you haven't updated those in the last 10 years, probably want to update those, right? And that's revenue. And maybe the other boards and committees and that have licensing, if they haven't raised those over, you know, the last 10 years, you probably want, you know, and listen, every little bit helps. And then there is that short-term rental bylaw that the town started to research, and then it seemed like there were two different,
Yes.
and it just
Yeah.
got shut down
Yeah.
and not picked back up.
Yeah.
Well, let's pick that up and get our ducks in a row and see if we can implement that. So I want to start doing some research, talk with the planning board, CMRPC, dig up town council
Yeah.
correspondence, and see if we can't wrap our hands around it. I did do a little research there. My Lord, you got a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's real money to look at possibly coming in. I mean, on your meals tax alone, your excise, you're over $60,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty darn good.
Yep.
You know.
Crap, I'd love to bring another Dunkin' in here or something.
The other thing is looking at your economic development. And again, that's a long-term thing. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
But we just received that grant for the master planning.
Yeah.
That is inclusive. That update's going to focus on economic development and the Route 9 corridor and branding this town. And so to keep in line with its character, but everything the town has to offer.
Right.
And then correlating that with other entities, like I met with Mass Development. And what they do is they help out small, new businesses that want to start up, or maybe they're existing businesses in town, but they need a little extra help or guidance or whatnot. Now there is, similar to the one-stop portal for grants, now municipalities have, or businesses have a one-stop where they can put in, this is my business and I'm looking for help for such and such. Are there any grants available? They put it in that one portal, and then it's literally reviewed and, all right, this could go to that or that, right? And then those business owners are contacted with the right people to connect with and help them.
Yeah.
When we help our local businesses, money stays in town.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know about you, but you hear nonstop travel coming through this town.
well,
I'd love to get some
it's
people to stop.
Route 9. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's
I'd love to get
huge.
people to stop.
And so one thing about this Route 9 project, it's been a long project. It will be a long project, and it's a lot of money. But you know what? Those improvements are huge to your Route 9 corridor. And so in the end, that's going to be a big payoff. So I feel like, and I looked, I'm like, are you kidding me? I come up here with all this, and I had a whole laundry list of positive things that I think that we could do and that I want us to keep record of, because come the time that we need to be able, what we need to demonstrate, I think, for the taxpayers is, we are turning over every stone. We are going to look to operate fiscally sound, right? And we're taking the measures we need to take to try to right the ship the best we can.
Yeah.
And still provide services.
Yeah. We're working on two fronts. Today's operating budget, we'll try to plan the future piece.
Yeah.
Start that today. You can't wait and put it off, but you got to be doing both at the same time.
Both at the same time,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that takes an effort,
yeah,
for sure.
So that was what I wanted to.
All right, so I would be in favor of having a meeting with the financial team and
Okay.
advisory, and John give us
Yeah.
an update.
Are you
so that
available
way,
during the day?
depending on the day, but most days I am.
Okay.
I don't know
Because
about Roland,
days are a little bit easier for me now.
but I don't know Roland's schedule. So
Okay. Or advisory too. Like, I think when it comes to the department
maybe if
heads,
we can do a Zoom.
that would be,
Yeah.
I think that we absolutely have to have in the daytime, because that's when you're going to get your
But
department
I think
heads,
the whole financial team and the select board with John need to wrap our head around it first with the information that he's seeing, figuring out what to do, and then it goes to the department heads.
Mm-hmm. So when I hear back from John, I'll run that by him.
Okay.
Also, advisory has their meeting Thursday, and I know they want to talk about their process and schedule or
Yep.
timing. So I can I can bring this up to them
Yes.
and get their buy-in too,
Yeah.
and see, because I think once we have an idea from
Oh.
John.
Sorry.
Ew.
They sent the message, so that's what the tree looks like at this particular
that
point
looks
in
like a
time.
Halloween tree.
True Charlie Brown. Yeah.
Looks like a maze.
Do I want to tell you that was December?
Wow,
That's
that
what
was that
Well, we've
beautiful.
had some crazy windstorms, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
you
this
leave
was
lights
January
up.
24th, so this was the Christmas of 23,
Oh, okay.
because this was the week after.
What a beautiful tree, though.
It is.
Mm.
I liked it. I took a picture of it. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
I just, yeah.
So that's what I'll do then.
Okay.
Circle back with John. If I don't hear from him tomorrow, I'll definitely. I know he plans on being in attendance.
Yeah, maybe we can get a couple dates
and we can get some dates.
Yep.
And okay.
I think it makes sense, and we can see what we can work out. At least
Yeah.
the majority of us here.
Yeah.
And John, what we need
And
to do.
Brad, do you have your schedule for the next several weeks at all?
Subject to change.
I know, right?
Your days tend to rotate down.
They do. It's a 4 and 2 schedule, so I would kind of play some weird things. I know the 28th I am working. I can try to see if I can adjust that, but I'm 3 to 11 until they do a bid. And but yeah, I have my schedule. I can get it to everybody. Do you want it right now?
No, you can email it over, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be just on a Tuesday.
I have the Octobers on my wall.
You know, it doesn't have to be just a Tuesday, because we're not looking just for select board meetings. We're looking to be able to have
Right. It's going to be
Finance.
just a-
Right.
budget meeting. I think that would be most helpful.
I think so too. We'll get
And then we're
questions
all on
answered and
that.
start someplace, and we're all hearing the same information right from the beginning. All right, let's go on to item number 12, the Lake Wickabog Special Use Permit Request for Approval. Votes expected. Number A is a special use permit for Blackstone Valley Bass Anglers event on Lake Wickabog for July 11th, 2026.
I like this little form. Outstanding job, whoever did
Is there a
that.
motion to approve?
Not me, it's Alpha.
No? A motion to approve these permits. If I may add to this, is adding to the lake. I know we've been seeing a lot of stuff with that hogwort and stuff. Maybe there's something eventually that these boaters need to start washing off their boats prior to coming into our lake. Because it takes a fraction, from what I've heard from DCR and everything else, to get a little bit of that, and then it goes everywhere.
I did send you.
I saw that email that came out, and again, people are coming to use the lake, but maybe be a little bit more responsible with it, especially out of towners.
I live on the lake.
Right.
And there's a lot of foreign boats. A lot of boats I'm not familiar with on the lake. So,
Right. It might need some signage up there that says "Wash your boat before going to this." But I mean, people aren't going to do it.
What's
But
the
yeah,
consequences if you don't? What's the proof that you did? So,
Right.
I'm not sure that a sign could do it, but and it is a public boat link.
Yep.
I don't know that you can control it. I don't know. I think the Lake Wickabog Preservation Association might have something more to contribute to say about that.
And there's something about that was a boat ramp that was put in with the state money,
Yeah.
so we need to do some little research on that
yeah.
before we can
Yeah.
come up with some alternative. All right, so you want to make a motion to approve the 3 at once?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Number 13, select board license fees updated.
Well, I'd like you guys to go, we can go item by line item. I'm listing the current.
Yep.
Proposed new. And we can, yeah.
So are we dropping the fee?
The fee, if you look down at the retail license fee in the chart, the restaurant fee and the in-holder tavern for an all alcohol permit is really twice the amount of every town I've seen. I don't understand why it's so high. I mean, I've not heard complaints from the vendors, but it's just something that I think is bothersome, and maybe other businesses would not come into town knowing that they'd have to pay that kind of fee if they did want to have an alcohol permit. I could be wrong, but it just seems excessive. but it's up to you guys what you want to do. There are some extra licenses that I'm suggesting as an entertainment license that we don't have. They have bands coming, if they've got, events, we can charge a yearly fee, 75 or 100. The mass.
Would that be like the food trucks and everything that comes in? I know we get a lot of stuff on the town. I don't want to impede it.
No, that would be a Board
punish
of
it,
Health.
but-
That's like a Board of Health thing, so that wouldn't be us. So there'd be, say, if the tavern has ongoing events with bands coming or whatnot, they would have to pay a one-time fee for the year to have that entertainment license. And also a raffle license that we don't charge for now. Do you want to have a fee associated, or devices amusing devices, say at the club. We don't currently charge, but we want to charge. So.
And is that for businesses, or I'm just trying to think of
It's
private?
all related to ABCC mainly. It's little licenses that all the towns do, and I just kind of compare different towns and what they charge.
Okay.
And there was a chart behind the listing that I put together of other towns and what they charge versus us. So you can see the breakdown across. And we had combining the common vic in with the alcohol license. Normally that would be like a 75 or 50, 100 tops in the license fee. So even if it was included in that 2,100, it's not a lot of money in there. So, but I think take it out. We give a license for that specifically, have the fee separate.
So with the first one, the all alcohol on premise for the restaurant and the inn holder, the annual fee they're paying now doesn't include a number of these other ones wrapped up into that number?
No, they wouldn't have anything else.
Okay.
Really.
All right. I'm just trying to figure out why it was higher too.
I mean, if we asked them to have an entertainment fee, that would be on top.
Okay.
Of their
So
fee.
it's not anything that's rolled up into it. Okay.
It would just be a common vic and an all alcohol permit. Is what's included at 2,100 now.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought if we can up them a little bit in some areas, but not going over, other towns that are near us. So a little bit of money coming in.
What would you like to do?
I'm fine with the new proposed fees.
Okay. All right. I'll take a motion.
Yep, take a motion to approve the fee schedule as drafted. That would be it. The license fees updated and new fees drafted.
And I'll second that motion. Is there any further discussion?
I would like to say that I don't believe the common victulars, I don't believe those had been that you'd been receiving applications for common vic, and those are any brick and mortar that sell prepared foods. So for the licensing, which will be approaching come November, applications will go out to those that should be required to obtain.
Every little bit helps.
Information that this is something new that they need to make sure they comply with.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
I couldn't remember if I did that part.
Nope.
Okay. Number 14 is the treasury warrants.
Motion to approve the warrants as presented for warrant number 8, fiscal year 26 payroll warrant number 8 as presented.
Okay. I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Those are approved. Town administrator report.
We'll try to be quick. All right. So with capital planning, Dave's been trying to get a meeting together, and I really wanted to attend the very first meeting as kind of their kickoff, where they're setting up the, their approach for capital planning. and I want to understand the process and what the data is that they're using to formulate their plan. I did reach out to the auditors and requested the list of assets that they maintain for the town, and I also requested from our insurance company all insured assets.
Yep.
So those I'll be asking if, so this process I haven't been a part of, and I just want to know, what are they requiring other than a wish list from the departments? Like what, not a wish list per se, but, what's needed for projects. I'd like a copy if they've required departments to submit a chart or a spreadsheet that lists their assets and that they require the expected, life of each asset, because otherwise, your 5-year, your 10-year,
Yeah.
So
Everybody needs a new truck.
But we need to know how many we have already and how old they are. Yeah, and we need to start there.
We already spoke about the master planning grant. So once we get the state contract in, we'll execute that. I did notify the planning board, let them know that we received it. And then I'll circle back with them and figure out how we want to move forward on this and get CMRPC on board and do what we need to do. The other part of that is with the existing master plan, it hasn't been implemented. So we'll work towards implementation of what we already have in existence. I did let you know that we received the digital equity grant. So that is great. We received $72,000. I notified the library and the senior center and CMRPC, and we'll coordinate with them and get that in the works. And then I did mention the Green Communities competitive round. We won't be able to do the fall one, but we'll be all set for applying for a competitive round in the spring. Beth and I collected all the data that CMRPC needed from us to do the final report, which I thought was due November 15th, but it's actually, I think it was a little earlier, but we got it in last week, right? I think we got it in. So I think the due date's like November 7th or something. So we're ahead of the game there. We will be looking at that HVAC unit that's just under $100,000 to replace, and we'll be looking at the thermostat controls, that software.
Yep.
And then go from there. It looks like Green Communities doesn't straight out fund vehicles anymore, but instead you'll be deferred to another program that may, pay $7,000 of a vehicle if that's where you wanted to go. Because I know that early on they funded them, and so that was one of the thoughts for the police department. The thing was with that, and of course you need a charging station. So the thought there was if we had a dual head, one that stands from the ground, we could have the parking lot paved because it has to be able to support that. And that is something that they've done for other towns. So, but anyway, so town hall restoration, I think I have sent you emails updating you on that. Johnson Structural Engineering came out. They've done their assessment. We will receive the assessment, but the architect felt that this was of such urgency that he directed them to go forward with the plan. right? And so that plan will be going over to the contractor, and this is to stabilize the roof. Donna had contacted me and let me know that we have $21,000 in an account as a result of an insurance claim for the initial water damage, and it hasn't been expended, and she needs to close that out by the end of the fiscal year. Well, this meets that bill.
Merry
And
Christmas.
so, yes, yes, indeed. Again, this isn't roof replacement. This is basically, let's stop the bleeding, and it's a Band-Aid for now. It's not meant to be extremely long-term, but with winter coming, you know. Solar pilots trying to get Pure Sky and Harold Scheid from RRG together to get back on that so that we can come forward with a review of the pilot, but based on RRG's calculations and not the prior consultant that was working for the assessors. So I saw Corey from Pure Sky at the DOER hearing that was put on, the informational hearing for the new bylaws for solar and battery storage. And they're on a real fast track, but a lot of communities are in a similar boat as we are, that we don't have the luxury of technical expertise on staff to write these bylaws and to even check these plans, you know, and it's a process. And so for DOER to expect towns by next town meeting to go forward is really pushing the envelope a bit.
So is there no regional group that would do it on behalf of the communities that the communities could tweak?
That actually, it was brought up and put back into DOER's lap. It shouldn't be. Right. This is yet another unwanted mandate. So DOR was very responsive. This wasn't the first group they've heard it from. And so they are looking to staff circuit riders that will assist towns, and they're also looking at being able to provide technical review assistance. So there seems to be some of that in the works. I suspect that there'll be a lot of comments and pushback just because the timing is so quick. So that's where I saw Corey, and she had explained to me that their server was down and they've been having a lot of glitches. And so chances are that's why she hasn't received anything from RRG and vice versa. Okay. So I've reached out to Harold to have him give her a call, and they can start the conversation that way.
Okay.
Okay, you are aware, I believe, that the water department did submit the SRF application. So waiting to hear back on that, and then they're going to weigh out what is a better deal for the town. Is it going to be USDA or SRF? I haven't heard back, but I'm supposed to be speaking with the superintendent and the financial director about procurement in that, and we'll circle back on if they've heard back on the MSBA for the windows and doors project. They've been coming, though, to the advisory meetings, which I think is going to be very helpful in providing advisory with any updates in that. So we also would hope to be kept in the loop on what's going on with discussions with North Brookfield. Let's see here, we already discussed budget 2027. Now, there's for the Route 9, and there was a schedule put together for the upcoming fiscal years and how much money would be needed just for the engineering, right? And where are those funds going to come from? And those funds do qualify, well, that work does qualify through Chapter 90, so he could use Chapter 90 funds, and he's agreed to look into that. And he had said that he was waiting to hear back on another grant before he was, going to be able to make up his mind on exactly how much he could use. So the update to that is that he has been in conversation with Mass DOT, and they are actually proposing a program. Now, it hasn't been passed, but this has been discussed to help municipalities with their obligation. So right now you have the 10% obligation on all of that. Now, would it cover it? Probably not all of it, but if it would cover some, that would be great.
Yeah.
And so he wanted me to let you guys know that he's continuing to investigate funding sources to help out with the Route 9.
Yep.
The personnel work team, we had another meeting on the benchmarking, and we will meet again on the 21st of October. Cable TV, you already gave that update. Jillian and I did go to the MMA and Maya Health Insurance Cost Forum. It looks as though it'll be double digits for everyone. So there's work that will need to be done, but we're limited in the conversation right now. And then I did talk to you about the Office of Business Development. And as you know, we have hearings with regarding AFSCME Council 93. And we've participated in the conference hearing on the 8th. And we'll be responding back to that. We may be able to come to an off-the-record agreement, if possible. So that would be great. And then on the 28th, we have two, and I'll keep you posted as we go through that.
Okay.
And that's it. That's what I got for you.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other business?
I could just bring up two things, maybe. Now that we got this going, this is great. Is there something that we can maybe get departments heads once a month just to kind of give us a monthly report? It'd be nice to at least say, hey, police department was here. We responded to this for the month. Highways working on this. We had this many call outs. It'd be nice to let the public aware of what we're doing in the town.
That is up to the board to decide, and I have seen that for departments and boards or committees that are appointed by the board, where they invite them once a month or so to come in. And, they're requested to come in and give an update or any news or anything or any issues that they may be experiencing or whatnot. And then for those that can't attend, sometimes the select board, if you can't make it, understood, but we'd like a written report, type thing. If that's something that you feel would be helpful, it does bring some connectivity between the board and the departments. And I think that when you meet with them face to face and you have that open dialogue, I think it just builds strength in the relationship. And I think that's a great thing.
I think it'd be great. I would like to I don't know about how you feel, Cammie, but I would love to see the department heads come out here and be a little bit more transparent and see and work together.
I would like to at least get some kind of written update once a month, just so that way we could share that update with the public, so that way the public know and the board know.
100%.
Rather than making them come here once a month, and maybe it's quarterly they come here, or less often, because then we get budget or there's other things. They're here during the day and then they're coming to the meeting, and if all the department heads are here.
Right. Well, I know administratively, once your salary, you can adjust your schedule with time.
Right, but I think it's to start off. I think even just to have them submit something,
so
we could share.
Are you asking me to write a memo requesting?
I would.
Yeah.
Requesting a written report,
and if they feel like,
in
and
person,
if they feel like they come in person, would be nice.
Yes, if they want to come, they're more than welcome. Obviously, it's a public meeting. We're not asking them that they have to come here, but if they wanted to share information of what's going on in their department with us, and we could share with the public, that would be, I think, good information.
Yeah, I have something to add to that too. That the advisory committee or the finance committee probably could use to be recorded too, in terms of transparency. It's not only what gets decided here, but what gets juggled over the course of a year with the finance issues.
Yep.
Right.
But in regard to that, recording that meeting and any other extensions of this meeting, we have to disclose our budget limitations in terms of manpower. Our operating expenses can outpace our franchise receipts.
Yeah, and that's why I was not trying to extend any meetings, but at least a report would give the taxpayers and voters some information what's going on in the town.
If they could come into a meeting like this where we're already here.
And that's what I'm saying. I want a written piece so that we could read it.
Yes, right.
Is where I was starting.
Well, and so to expand on that just a little bit, we have not yet wired this room for the equipment that would be needed to be permanently supported in here. We're using field equipment right now that's just recording. And a lot of that we're expecting to have more automated.
Yeah.
So, a person of the table might be able to set the process on go and shut it down, and an operator or a coordinator could possibly be monitoring this off premise or out of this room, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of automation we're looking into to make more meetings happen, being more recorded with less expense of manpower from the studio.
Okay. You said there's a second thing.
Yeah, so it came quick. When I was passing through the hall today, I talked to Teresa about it, and granted, I was bringing it to the board just to see where you kind of stand on it. I don't know if you're aware, but the North Brookfield police chief has taken a job at Lennox PD. He's going to be gone, from what I've been hearing, in November. Now, that'd be really quick. I don't foresee it, but I would love to maybe sit down with the town of North Brookfield and their select board or their TA. They're already on the board or moving towards regionalization with Quabog. North Brookfield has a brand new police department station. Maybe this is something that they might entertain, doing a joint board or something of that sort, where we might be able to slowly start moving into saving some money or appropriations with our police departments, and maybe get us where we need to be, instead of trying to focus on us trying to build a brand new building, or at least just to have a sit down with the town and just to see if it's even something that they might
even if it's services to start cost sharing some services where it's feasible.
Correct.
That towns are willing to entertain a discussion and see where it goes, just like the school department. When I was in the school department, we did that with food service. We had a food service director that we shared between the two school departments.
But again, it's coming quick. If he's gone in November, they're going to start. I mean, obviously a hiring process for a chief is going to take a couple months, but that would be a great interjection point where you can say, hey, we're both in this
to have a conversation with
debacle together when it comes to the finances. Is this something that we might be?
Now's the time to ask while it's happening.
Correct.
And if there's no interest, then there's no interest.
And I'd be willing to go during the day if Teresa can take some time out of her day, and maybe we can set something up and just sit with the town and say, hey, is this something you guys are looking at?
I'd be in favor of asking the question and having conversation, at least at this point of would it be even something they'd think about
Right.
doing
Is
before?
that something you want to?
Yeah, want to make a motion to,
Make a motion to set up a meeting with North Brookfield and just
have a discussion?
discussion with public safety services.
Yep. I second that motion.
That's all I have.
All right. Any comments and concerns? Our next meeting is October 28th at 6 p.m. And I'll take a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. 8:05. What my clock says.
Was there a contract in here to sign?
Yeah, I gotta sign all this stuff. I didn't want to ruffle papers. But no, it makes noise.
Did you vote on it?
Adjourn? Yes.
You didn't get in vote on it.
Oh,
Aye.
I guess I made a motion, I seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Yep.